that someone has submitted. So Patrick O would like to know, how does AI impact SCADA planning?
Man, what a time to be alive, right? It's everywhere now. It's the buzzword. It's all around us, and I feel like we're seeing AI branching out more into things now than what we had in over the last year, and the rate of which it's advancing and getting involved in things is only getting faster. A year ago, LLMs were you'd use them to generate dialogue for something, or to use them to generate images, and you can go see like videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti, right? That kind of stuff. You could see that, and you could see the progression 1 year later, and just see how fast it's or how much it's improved just with its self-learning. And what we're seeing now is we're seeing a lot of that translating into the SCADA system, but it starts with a modernized SCADA system. For you to be able to start leveraging AI, this is where you get into the concept of contextualization of your data, a unified namespace. If anybody here has never heard of those terms, basically think of contextualization of your data as modeling of your data. So think of, I have a flow rate. Okay, that's great. But once you have that flow rate and you have the context of everything around that flow rate, then you can actually start to do more things with that data. So the contextualization is the modeling of the data. You're creating the semantic hierarchy that mimics your enterprise. And the idea is that for a unified namespace, every application in your business can tie into this structure and receive the same piece of data, rather than getting it from one source who then pushes it to another source, who then pushes it to another source after they manipulate something. And then you have 4 different variants of how you consider, AUTOSOL, building temperature. You have this whole stream down for the hierarchy on how you get there, and then everybody talks the same language. The reason that's important is because as we get into AI has to be able to interpret what it is that we're looking at. You can't just give AI, a splattering of data and have it make sense of it. You have to give it something that is structured and it can look at and predict. So if it can understand what the model of that data is, it can then start making educated decisions. So what we're seeing is what was promised to us 15 years ago. You see all these companies that are doing predictive maintenance, and a lot of them failed at doing that. And the reason was they didn't have 2 things. They didn't have the structure of the data that they needed. The data just wasn't mature enough. The second thing is they didn't have the verbosity of the data. So when we're talking about these edge technologies, we're talking about getting high resolution data. So we're not just getting, a pressure every hour or a pressure every 30 minutes from some of these well sites, for example. We're getting pressures every 5 seconds. And once you have that context and that verbosity of the data with everything else, these systems can start to train themselves on detecting anomalies and other things. And we're now seeing a reintroduction of this predictive maintenance stuff that was promised to us 10, 15 years ago. And now it's coming back around, but they're coming back more effective.
I'm going to take a moment here and grandstand a little bit on that topic. I just sent, that's why I was typing a second ago, I just sent a PowerPoint that I've been playing with to our producer, Sal, here. And I think he's going to show a slide here of a tweet that I saved a couple weeks ago. I'm making a presentation on this topic. Let's see if he can show us. Yeah, here we go. So real quick, the question was, how does AI impact SCADA planning? So from a SCADA perspective, are you planning the operations AI Databricks layer? No, you're not planning that. But your system is part of that system. So you have a role to play. And to Trent's point, data. Data is your role. Usually SCADA teams are the ones who are doing the data acquisition piece for that company. And here's a quote from, whether or not you like them, the Oracle CEO, whose name I didn't write down when I made this note. And I saw it on a TikTok, but it was him at a show last week. And he said, quote, "You have to unify all your data so it can be consumed by an AI model." So to answer the question directly, how does AI impact SCADA systems or SCADA planning? Data. To support an AI system as a SCADA department, you need to supply, I think he used the word verbosity, a lot. You need a lot of data, and it needs to be in some sort of palatable, unified namespace where everybody can consume the same data. That is your role in the broader AI, without having to integrate a chat, like some sort of agent into your software. That's not what I'm talking about. Just the cloud AI type of things that are happening. Your role is to get data. And I think to understand what SCADA's role is in AI planning, it's to understand what is AI today. So what triggered me about this tweet that I saw, Ethan Mollick, for those of you who don't know, and if he's watching this, at me, bro, he is a AI researcher, and he's got some great stuff. So basically, in this one, he is basically trying to say, why has AI not taken off? At least in the oil and gas industry and broader automation industry, there feels like there was a moment in 2017, 18, late 19, just before COVID, where everyone had an LLM or some sort of cloud-based optimization platform or solution or algorithm or something. And it went nowhere. It kind of collapsed. And I never could figure out why. Like I feel like I just observed it. Why did this collapse? Ethan here has the idea. It's this idea of reverse salient. And here's my notes from this presentation that we're looking at here. It's reverse salient is a term from the history of science for a technology or process that holds back the whole system. And because that is the obstacle, that then becomes the way. This part that's holding back the system is the focus of everybody. So in 2018, go 2 slides forward, would you? Sorry, here, yeah. So this is the example for electricity, right? There was an invention phase. Aha, I can make electricity using fuel. There was a transfer phase where this idea is catching on in other places. And that really speeds up the innovation of it. And then lastly, there's the growth and expansion phase, right? Everybody wants to grow and expand because the idea is that you want to be able to produce this new technology at scale and cheaper. So for electricity, right, they created a way to make it. They created like the fuel types, whale fat, coal, gas, kerosene, whatever. And then what happened was transmission. They're generating DC current. So someone had to invent alternating current to transmit it large distances, and then we convert it back locally. Next slide, if you'd be so kind, sir. Hopefully what you can see at home is this screen, right? This is what I've been putting together to try to contemplate how AI, like the struggles of AI in 2018, right? We created cloud infrastructure, someone made these LLMs, and then they stumbled because lack of data. They started getting this data and they realized, oh, I need more data. Oh, I need it in a different format. Oh, my protocol can't handle it. My monolith SCADA system doesn't support the cloud connectivity protocol that this model would require. But now I feel like with UNS and these type of platforms that we see, we have broker technology, all that, we're getting past this reverse salient, right? The reverse salient is the barrier to full adoption of it. So AI struggles with struggled with the idea of, hey, look, I'm not getting enough data and it's not in the right format for me to be able to process it because I don't know what 40,001 is in the cloud. I need context to it. I need metadata to it. And so to bring it back to SCADA planning, long-winded, I know, but it's kind of a fun topic for everybody right now, right? It's that data should be the focus of the SCADA systems when it comes to AI right now, because without that data piece, no amount of millions of dollars of AWS or Azure infrastructure is going to produce the return on investment that you've banked this project on.
Yeah, and to take it one step further, you talked about planning. That's the whole premise of the question. I think to go beyond just the acquisition of the data or the verbosity of the data, it's the people that are using it, the people that are interfacing with it. I think one of the most important things that we could do as integrators and as leaders in the industry is to start fluency with AI. So what that means is not just I'm using AI to ask it a question, it's how do I effectively interface with it? How can I ask it meaningful questions to get meaningful data back? So for young engineers or older engineers that are not using it yet, you probably should start. And it starts with just understanding how to interface with it and what questions not to ask, because you're getting, David said it earlier, negative feedback or negative feedback loops, or maybe you start getting artifacts back. But you have to understand that a lot of these AI platforms and LLMs, they're based off of parameters. So if you can give it a series of parameters and get information back within those parameters, you're setting yourself up for more success. But if you just give it, hey, tell me some restaurants that are nearby, it's not going to give you much. It's going to say, all right, well, here's a bunch of restaurants. It's, well, hey, I want to go to one of these restaurants and I'm looking for this type of food within this dollar budget. Well, then it becomes more meaningful. And again, this gets back to context. So I was trying to explain this concept the other day to my wife and kids. It's what is context? And it's, I'm hungry. Okay. I'm hungry because I haven't eaten all day. That's more meaningful than just I'm hungry. So now I have a little bit more, I can treat the conversation differently because I know that, oh, wow, you've missed 2 meals in a row. We should probably get you some food here soon. Otherwise you're going to start, having an attitude, or your mood's going to change. So now it becomes more impactful. So having that context is everything.